Look, man, Dave is getting the bag. Okay? That's precisely what he's doing. He's getting the bag. He doesn't give a shit. And he's doing it in the most, like, fucking bottom-feeding way you can. Okay? I like to hold people that I consider comedy fucking legends to a higher standard. That's the reality.
Political.
That's the unfortunate reality. He could have made salient points about how other marginalized groups seem to ignore black issues and let people get away with terrible crimes against black people more than other minorities, but instead he chose to side with the people who want trans people dead and invalidating their existence. Yeah. That's the worst thing, is that it was just hacky. It was hack material, dude. If your material is the same as like Greg Gutfeld's fucking Fox News late night comedy show, then, you know, what the fuck are you doing? You're not a legend anymore. What the fuck is that? You're just trying to grab a bag and doing it in a way where you're like, yeah, I don't really care. If your material is a derivative of Steven Crowder, then you're not really a fucking legend. What the fuck is this? The absolute worst part about cancel culture is just that, like, it has made every fucking comedian exclusively talk about how bad cancel culture is. Like, all these fucking legends, dude. It's like, dude, come on, man. Get new material, please. I love how the trans community immediately jumps to they want us all to die over minor criticism. If you want to talk about overreacting, brother, I don't know if you're aware of the community that you're in, but if you think it's fucking overreacting that like trans people are constantly on the defensive, when you can literally go on CNN and talk about how trans women aren't real women, and that is seen as like a regular fucking point of debate in an unironic, like, this is the way people can talk about trans people and Palestinians, okay, is kind of like the way people could talk about black people. Straight up. There is intellectual discourse that revolves around the fucking humanity of trans people. Okay? That's insane. That means that they are severely fucking marginalized. Like, that's wild. That's a wild thing. Trans people are not comparable to Palestinians. That's insane. How? I'm talking about the way that the fucking media covers Palestinians. Like they're not human. They're subhuman in a similar capacity to trans people. You might have woke corporations, okay? And all these other fucking brands that are like, we love our trans, don't we? Come on, we love our trans and whatnot. But all that shit's bullshit. And especially if you're a black person, you know that better than anybody else. That when corporations say, oh, Black Lives Matter, yeah, we're with you, you know that that's not fucking anything, okay? That's just lip service. That's just trying to fucking appeal to a certain type of liberal that wants to feel good about their consumption, okay? That's not real. Nah, dude, you are reaching hard. Really? I'm reaching hard, dude? Okay. Saying trans women are not women isn't the same as they're not human? What? Dude, every fucking counter whenever I make this argument is literally, no, you don't understand. I'm transphobic, so like it's different. It's like a racist person coming in here and being like, dude, like discussing how violent black people are inherently is you know, that's normal. There's a normal conversation to have. It's like, no, you're just reporting that you yourself are fucking literally just a racist. Or in this situation, you yourself are reporting that you're just transphobic, so you don't comprehend it. And I'm simply asking you to just fucking literally just take a step back and try to comprehend it instead of immediately lashing back. Because look, we haven't had this conversation in a while. We haven't had this conversation in a long time. So it bears repeating. So trans people, there's going to be a little bit of fucking excusing of transphobia in here. If that's too much for you to handle, I'm letting you know it's about to come out of my mouth. I've talked about how I used to have transphobic opinions. Okay? I talked about how numerous times over that I understand why someone's like point of origin is transphobic. Now, why do I understand that? Because fucking trans people have internalized transphobia when they're fucking growing up. Why? Because every part of our societal development in the Western world is just built around the rigid binary concept of having two genders. That's it. That's just the reality. So I get why people's starting points is like, oh, this shit, dude, fucking yeah, what? That's not normal. I don't know what's going on there. Because like that's what you grow into. Okay, that's what you learn. Obviously, that's not the case. In different cultures, and that gender is a social construct. And it even the sex that we talk about between male and female is not the rigid binary. And that is the current scientific thought on the matter, for the record. Okay? That even sex, or what transphobic people oftentimes consider biological gender, even that's not a fucking binary in the way that we thought we understood it. Okay? There's a fuckload of intersex people, for example. Gender is just the skin you wear on top of that. So it is difficult to shake that when every part of your existence is built around this. Okay? Every part of your existence is built around the concept that you're a man. I'm a male. I have masculine traits. I got to be a man. I got to be male. But when someone comes around and like kind of breaks that, you're like, my whole world view is broken. Fuck that shit. No. So your immediate reaction is to close off and be closed-minded. So when that's the reason why I especially get mad at cultural critics who are actually insightful and pretty fucking brilliant, like Dave Chappelle, who participate in the closing off and say, no, you're fine to fucking feel this way about trans people. They're fucking weird, dude. It's crazy. They're just like crazy. Because that's all he's doing in that special, is saying trans people are weird. They're crazy. They're different. They're bad. They're wrong. And also they're like in cry bullying all the time, and they're punching down at everybody else because we won't participate in the crazy. That's the problem. You didn't find the special funny whatsoever? Maybe it's because I watch hogs for a living and for fun. But pretty much, like, I would say, I'm going to give a conservative estimate here, 65 to 70% of Dave Chappelle's trans jokes, which made up the broad majority of the special itself, revolved around rehashing super fucking like old school tropes. You know what I mean? Like, just straight up. And there were parts that there were parts that were funny. You're wrong, bro. He's faced a lot of flack for showing his trans opinions in the past, so he's talking about it and showing how he has evolved. You're being reactionary? What? I'm being reactionary for saying Dave Chappelle's jokes weren't that funny? Because they were just like repackaged old school fucking transphobic jokes that I've heard a million times over as he doubles down. I'm the reactionary one when Steven Crowder and Ben Shapiro absolutely fucking loved his humor, dude. His humor. Perhaps you should re-examine everything, really. Yeah.
Political correctness continues to run amok in our institutions. So Sage Steele is a really, really talented broadcaster over at ESPN. And she does the noon sports center. She's been doing...
The thing I hate about this, by the way, is that, like, I like to build class consciousness, and I want there to be class solidarity amongst the working class, which currently does not exist. And I also believe in intersectionality. And one of the things that fucking sucks about a prominent black thinker who himself will always be like, oh, don't put me in that role, whatever, Dave Chappelle. I'm just a comedian, lol. But he is a fucking black thinker, whether he wants to admit it or only admits it to himself when it's you know, beneficial or not, is that it literally destroys intersectionality when you're pitting one marginalized community's plights against another. And that's why, oh God, just like the fucking capital owning class absolutely loves when a worker tells another worker to fuck off because his job is not as backbreaking as his, these fucking racist pieces of shit love when a guy like Dave Chappelle is just being like, I'm pitting black existence against trans existence, and I'm saying enough is enough. There is nothing. This is fat material for Ben Shapiro, okay? Oh, so good. Oh, incredible. 10 out of 10. So why the fuck would you make yourself literally a puppet for reactionary psychos? And you as a chatter, if you've been in my community for a long enough time, like, how the fuck do you find yourself defending that? That's silly as hell, dude. Wake the fuck up.
Sports Center at ESPN for years. She happens to be a biracial woman, and she was doing a podcast with Jay Cutler, and she made some controversial comments. Now, in the past, she's been pretty openly somewhat conservative. Sage has. So the notion that Sage Steele was ever really hiding the ball on her politics is untrue, and she's gotten blowback pretty publicly from people at ESPN about it. Now, remember, ESPN has become MSNBC with footballs.
I wonder what Ben has to say about Dave Chappelle's like a joke about Zionism. I wonder if he appreciated that.
ESPN spent years broadcasting whatever idiotic political statements LeBron James wanted to make and then treating them as though they were some sort of Moses on the mountain moment. Anything dumb and left that athletes say is projected into the stratosphere by ESPN, into anchors. Spent 4 years making overtly political comments about Donald Trump, for example, to very little blowback. Unless they said something so extraordinarily outrageous that it drew like intense fire, pretty much every day was just dominated by lies about policing in the United States or about systemic racism in the United States. And ESPN went woke a long time ago. So did Sports Illustrated. Like the entire sort of institutional sports media is way to the left of virtually all media, maybe including political media. Sage Steele is an exception to that, right? She's tweeted some things that tend toward the conservative. And while she was on with Jay Cutler, she made a couple of comments. She made one comment about Barack Obama. She was asked by Jay Cutler about Barack Obama on a census form saying that he was black as opposed to biracial, which he is, right? Barack Obama is biracial. His mom was white and his dad was black. Sage Steele is also biracial. And her dad is black and her mom is white. And here's what Sage Steele had to say.
And she's like, well, what happens when you fill out your census? I'm like, well, I don't know when the last time I filled out my census was, but if they make you choose a race, she's like, what are you going to put? I go, well, both. She's like, well, you can't. she goes, well, what about Barack Obama chose black and he's biracial? I'm like, well, congratulations to the president. That's his thing. I think that's fascinating considering his black dad was nowhere to be found, but his white mom and grandma raised him. But hey, you do you.
White Girl Wednesday, why are you making such a big deal about race? Oh,
I'm going to do me.
Okay, so how dare she point out the reality, which is that Barack Obama, characterizes himself as purely black as opposed to biracial. And she literally says in that clip, you can do what you want, right? That's fine. But it's interesting how he characterizes himself one way as opposed to another. Okay, fine. Like that is a fairly inoffensive comment. When I say fairly, I mean like completely. There's nothing offensive about that. Right? For her to say that she, who has the same racial status as Barack Obama, chooses to write mixed race on her forums and Barack Obama does not, is sort of culturally interesting. That's true. That is kind of a culturally interesting thing. And it demonstrates how our society tends to box people in to single race thinking as opposed to.
I wonder why. Bro, here's the thing. Sage Steele can fucking choose white on the census all she wants, okay? But because of how pervasive the one-drop rule is, and because of whiteness as a concept being built around exclusion and purity, it's a fucking ridiculous one, but it's just the reality, that 99.9% of the public will never see her as white, okay? Well, they won't treat her as white. They won't see her as white. I've said this before. The one-drop rule, despite the fact that whiteness is an ever-expanding concept, because of the one-drop rule, there's one group of people who will never be considered white, and that's black people. And not just black people, but, half black people, quarter black people for the most part. That's it. Are you teaching us CRT on Twitch? I mean, literally, that is CRT. That's critical race theory, boys.
The reality, which is that a huge number of Americans in the United States are mixed race.
So funny because black people will still view her as black, but white people will never view her as white. I had many multiracial and straight up black friends, never anything about not accepting them. What?
And that continues to grow year on year. Okay, there's nothing particularly controversial about that. And then she had this to say about vaccine mandates. So ESPN, Disney, they put down these vaccine mandates. Like a lot of other major companies in the United States, Sage Steele is very critical of that. Here's what she had to say.
I respect everyone's decision. I really do. Yeah. But to mandate it is sick. And it's scary. So I get it to an extent, but I think the mandate is what I really have an issue with. And I don't know what comes next. But I do know for me personally, I feel like defeated.
Okay, and ESPN decided that they were going to suspend her over this. So they issued a statement on Tuesday saying that Steele would not return to the network for a week, foregoing her noon spot on SportsCenter, and has been removed as host of the 2021 ESPNW Women and Sports Summit, taking place October 18th through the 20th. So,
is there a fucking dumbass Ben Shapiro won't defend? Okay, get to the Dave Chappelle shit, man.
You will be fired unless you take this vaccine.
Oh my God, this entire video is just Sage Steele.
The reality is to be toward the left, demographically speaking. And so Sage Steele has to pay the price for that. She put out a statement saying, I know my
motherfucker made me watch 5 minutes and he hasn't talked about Dave Chappelle yet.
Does. But again, it is just indicative of how stupid our culture is, that if you go on air and you're a biracial woman, you say something people don't like about Barack Obama, you might lose your job over it. Or if you say that you don't like vax mandates, you might lose your job over that. Meanwhile, that's not the only politically correct attempted cancellation of the day. So Dave Chappelle has a brand new special on Netflix. And he sort of alternates his specials. He does ones that are kind of woke and then highly praised because they're not as funny, but they're woke by the Rotten Tomatoes crowd. And then he does ones that are actually funny, but politically incorrect. So he makes some comments in his new Netflix special.
Oh, yeah. Dave Chappelle is catering to the woke crowd with some of his specials, the ones that I don't like. And then he's actually funny on the specials where he's just like repeating shit that I would probably say on my broadcast. Got it. Okay.
About the phenomenon of TERFs, trans exclusionary radical feminists, as they are called by the trans community, meaning women who say that biological women exist. Here is Dave Chappelle defending J.K. Rowling.
I'm Team Turf. I agree, man. Gender is a fact. You have to look at it from a woman's perspective. Look at it like this. Caitlyn Jenner, whom I've met, wonderful person.
That's it. Cancel. Okay, I take it back. Cancel this man. Who the fuck says Caitlyn Jenner is a wonderful person, dude? That's probably the worst thing that he said. How are you going to say gender is a fact and then follow that up with an even worse take? Seriously, dude. I mean, my man said, I'm a turf, which is like, okay. Gender is a fact. And the worst thing he said on that fucking sequence of sentences was, Caitlyn Jenner, whom I've met, is a wonderful person. How? How, dude? This is not okay. She murdered someone. Okay, let's keep going.
Caitlyn Jenner was voted Woman of the Year.
Okay, by the way, this stuff is actually, I mean, the whole like pandering to Caitlyn Jenner and all that shit, like that is something you can make fun of. Okay, like brands picking, like brands wanting to be sensitive and being like, oh yeah, there it is, Caitlyn Jenner, Woman of the Year, like there, that was actually not that bad. That was actually funny.
Her first year as a woman. Ain't that something?
That was actually not that bad. I forgot that there was a good joke there because of how taken aback I was from him saying Caitlyn Jenner, wonderful person. Like, I actually forgot.
Okay, for this sort of stuff, GLAAD is now lambasting Dave Chappelle.
Oh my God! Hold on, what? Was that a Ben Shapiro laughs moment?
Sort of.
Oh God, he should never laugh, dude. I feel like his face has never laughed before. We might have to take the L on that one. What do you mean? Bro, you're pandering so hard right now. Lol, kind of gross and intellectually dishonest. Literally every time I hop on your Twitch the last 3 days, you're talking about this shit, lol. White man tells a black man how he should feel. Nice, bruh. Lol actually fell off. Bruh, you're pandering so hard right now. Kind of gross and intellectually dishonest. First of all, this is the first fucking... You're actually gonna get shot, and I don't know if I'll feel bad at this point, lol. You've never met a white woman? That's genuinely one of the biggest weaknesses of our movement. You gotta stop falling for the honeypot man. Unironically in too deep this time, fam. Just watch dumbass failed RP. Bro, you've lit... Oh, dude, it's like every fucking... oh my God. Okay. We're not even talking about fucking... We're literally not talking about like black people, blackness, anything like that. What's up, fam? It's such a weird fucking thing to be like... It's such a weird thing to be like, wow, dude, can't believe you're telling a black man how to feel. What, about black people? No. I think black people have one wedge point, and it's the fact that they've been specifically targeted as far as denigrating black masculinity by making them more feminine. So there's additional trauma when you compare that to the way white LGBT people completely escape that talking about. I don't even understand what you were... What? Specifically targeted as far as denigrating black masculinity by making them more feminine. Did you just like... Did you unironically make like a... Did you just... I can't tell if this is like a buck breaking take. There's no shot that this, like, Tariq, is that you? Like, it hit me in the face. I don't understand. I was thinking about black comedians being put in dresses and shit. I'm not sure what you're referred to. Oh, you're talking about like... Can't have this convo with milk people. I feel like we're going too far into black people's business. I'm gonna see myself out of this one, okay? Keith made me. Some black people only see LGBT movements as one that is feminizing the masculinity of black men, which is what Purple Diamonds is trying to say. I know. I follow, as a milk person, I follow some of this drama on Twitter closely. I just don't talk about it. You talking about how Dave Chappelle's a spokesperson for the black community? He has a lot of jokes that were absolutely trash, but makes salient points. So to gloss over that is strange and dishonest. You 100% were not in here when I was talking about this. There is 0% chance. Like, you just failed to comprehend anything I said, I think. Why is homophobia and transphobia so widespread in the black community? Dude, I fucking hate this take, dude. That's such a dumb fucking question. Because, like, one, like, like, I don't even know how to address this. It's like, what, do you think homophobia and transphobia is not so widespread in the white community, dude? Like, what is this, like, oh, when black people do it, it's, like, weird. And somehow probably comes from a place of like not fucking being educated well enough. Like, well, what take is this, dude? Have you never met like a white person? I don't understand. I don't like that. I don't. Every fucking community has a lot of homophobia. The expectation that like black people somehow are magically going to be woke is a fucking silly one. I don't know why. Okay? I don't know why. It's no black people, just like white people, are gonna be fucking silly when it comes to this sort of shit. It's not like it's not different. I don't know why your expectation is the other way. Even. You know what I mean? Like why? Well, what? I don't know. I know you don't realize this because you're straight, but homosexual people see this and it's significantly worse. Interesting. Homosexual person who sees that black people are significantly more homophobic than white people. I wonder if there's like other energies there. You know? Dave Chappelle actually had a joke about that. Or at least had a question about that. It's like, you think gay people can't be racist? Yes, they can. I live in West Hollywood. Yes, they are. Okay. And they can be transphobic too. For the record. Again, they can and they are. Low-key homosexual take? What the fuck, dude? What a fucking... Have you ever met a gay black person that doesn't like black people? I mean, I haven't met him, but there is one that comes to mind. Pepela CW. Yeah. Yeah. Son of famous football player Herschel Walker's son, Christian Walker. Anyway. Anyway. Lamo, I hop in and hop out of drama. Oh, okay, dude. Zero Books says... Chappelle's latest show is legitimately moving. People who are angry at him about transphobia clearly have not watched the show. What? J.K. Rowling tweeted about you? Wait, is that a meme or is that serious? Why the fuck is what is she watching the show? Gotta be a meme, right? Did you just call your stream the show? It was bait. Can I ban? Oh yeah, do it. clap them up.
Okay, for this sort of stuff, GLAAD is now lambasting Dave Chappelle, and they're calling for Dave Chappelle to be removed from Netflix. GLAAD said, Dave Chappelle's brand has become synonymous with ridiculing trans people and other marginalized communities. Negative reviews and viewers loudly condemning his latest special is a message to the industry. Audiences don't support platforming anti-LGBTQ diatribes. We agree. Amazing how the people who are very much in favor of expanding every quote-unquote right to encompass pretty much every activity do not include among those rights speaking what you think about things. Then you ought to be deplatformed. So, amazingly beautiful stuff here from our censorious left.
Censorious left. Dude, he talked about it for like 30 seconds. This sucks.